All right. Well, we are here at the good old McDonald's just because I wanted to show Kelly Sims that I am certainly concerned about organic foods and all those things and non-processed food. So I enjoyed some sausage burritos this morning that were made with all organic, all local farmers' foods. At least that's what I told myself as I ate them. However, this morning we're going to be doing a little bit different for shock therapy. We're going to be continuing. Most of the time I don't continue something that I did the last week, but last week we talked about social mediaology 101, and this week we're going to do social mediaology 102, because there have been a lot of posts on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and things that have been scary, to say the least, as a youth pastor, but also as parents looking around at what their kids are posting. Sometimes you get a little discouraged, because honestly the thought that comes to my mind a lot when I see a lot of posts is, were you even thinking? Did you even think about what you were about to say, and the repercussions that would bring from what you were going to say? And so we talked last week in Social Mediaology 101 about thinking, about, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? We talked about those things last week, but this week, in fact, I was reading my devotions this morning in Proverbs 8. And Proverbs 8 gives us the book on, or the chapter on wisdom and what wisdom does and who it is, and it speaks allegorically of wisdom as it's a person. But there are some verses here in verses 6 and then on that give us a little bit of a description of what wisdom would sound like coming out of a person. So how would you know that Pastor AJ had wisdom? How do you know that Pastor Matt or anybody has wisdom? Well, there's some qualifications to it. Verse 6 says, "Here, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things." So excellent things, right things, both those are exactly what you think of. Excellent and then right. Right has the idea of smooth or level. It's smooth things that come out. Verse 7, "For my mouth shall speak truth." We talked about that. Is it true? "Wickedness is an abomination to my lips." I won't put anything wicked out of my lips. "All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There's nothing forward or," get this, "perverse in them. They are plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge." And it goes on to say, "Receive my instruction, it's better than gold," and all those things. So somebody who's got wisdom is going to speak about excellent things, about right things. They'll speak truth. They're not going to speak wickedness. There's righteousness. There's not perverseness that's in them. And I got to be honest, one of the things that I have seen more often than not in even the teenagers in our youth group, in their Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those posts, is that there is a borderline perverseness to them. That there's just, I'm not going to come out and say it outright, but I'll kind of hint at it from behind the scenes, and there's a perverseness to it. Well, let me tell you something, guys, that does not equal wisdom. In fact, if you're not wise, you are a fool. So the idea of wisdom is to show that you have wisdom, not like, oh, I know all the math problems, but the idea that I'm going to speak truth and righteousness and wisdom to those around me. But I think it's interesting to me that verse 12 of chapter 8 says this. It says, "I, wisdom, dwell with prudence." I dwell with prudence. So in other words, it's not just about speaking the right things. It's not just about speaking truth and all those things. There is a prudence that is paired with wisdom. Now you may be saying, what in the devil is prudence? Prudence has the idea of cautiousness, that you're cautious. So wisdom is alongside of prudence. In other words, when you are speaking, do you use cautiousness with what you speak about? Do you pause before you type in something on there and think, like we talked about last week, and then say, is this the right time for this? Should I be putting this on here? Is this going to give some repercussions that I don't want? For instance, don't air all kinds of relationship problems out on social media. You look desperate to the person that broke up with you, first and foremost. But secondly, that's you're not dealing with prudence. You're going to forget the person that broke up with you in 2 weeks. So don't worry about dealing with it on social media. Deal with it in your own heart. You can cry in your pillow or whatever. But it doesn't need to go on social media, because wisdom deals with prudence. My challenge for you this week is, before you type out, before you tweet, before you post, before you do anything, even talking to somebody, have some prudence. Speak righteousness, speak truth, speak excellent things and right things and all that. But have prudence. Be cautious about how you say something and when you say it, because then that is what shows us if you're wise or not. Have a good week.